Thanks so much to Nordgreen for sponsoring today's video. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well Loved Knits, and I'm really excited for today's video because we're going to be diving into a little bit of spring inspiration, specifically sharing a lineup of 15 free knitting patterns for spring. So I'm really excited for spring, and I had so much fun hunting down these patterns. It was such a great inspiration, and it was like a treasure hunt trying to see how or what kind of patterns I could find that didn't cost a thing at all. And guys, I'm really shocked at how sophisticated and intricate some of these patterns are, and you don't have to pay anything at all, which is just fantastic. So like last time, I wrote up a blog post where you can find all the links to the patterns that I'm mentioning, and the link for that is in the description, so be sure to check that out. Yeah, so I have a whole list here that I'm excited to dive into, but before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Nordgreen. Nordgreen is a Copenhagen-based minimalistic watch company pioneering the next wave of responsible Danish design. Their goal is to combine sustainable practices with functional, beautifully designed timepieces. I've been loving my Nordgreen watch ever since I got it, and these watches make beautiful gifts too. I recently picked one out for my husband because I knew he would look so stylish in it and appreciate a new timepiece. I went with this watch in gunmetal. The colorway is a twist on a classic design, so this piece really stands out from the other watches he currently owns. And as an added bonus, every watch purchased from Nordgreen supports one of 3 social projects run by Cool Earth, Pratham, and Water for Good. If you're interested in a watch for yourself or a friend, you can get 15% off your next purchase using the code KNITS at checkout. You guys definitely know I've been wearing my Nordgreen watch all the time. It's so sophisticated, it's so minimal, and I really love the design. It goes with everything, which is a huge benefit and something that I actually really look for in my accessories. And then they also make really great gifts too. So be sure to check them out, and thank you so much to Nordgreen for supporting the channel. Now let's get into those patterns. So starting out really strong here, we have Museau by Espastrico, which is this really lovely lightweight mohair sweater. It really reminds me of the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit. The only difference I'm seeing here, well, 2 differences. One is a circular yoke, and the obvious difference is that it's a crew neck and not a V-neck like the Cumulus blouse is. So the construction is pretty different, but the style is kind of the same. So if you really love the Cumulus blouse, I think you're gonna absolutely adore this pattern. I personally love it because it's knit with mohair and a strand of lace, which just has this like really nice light and airy fabric. And I just could see it being so easy to style, something that would be so easy to grab for as well. This would really be like the perfect transition piece if you want to get one last sweater in before the warm weather starts. This one I think would carry you through and be perfect for any like chillier nights. I have heard a lot of really great things about Espastrico. I think they're a very well-loved brand, so I think this is definitely knit-worthy. The next sweater is the Charisma sweater by Rowan Yarn, and I really love the designs that Rowan comes out with. I feel like they're very sophisticated. They have the potential, if you work, you can wear them at the office kind of thing. So I really love that. So there's a lot of versatility in their pieces, and they just feel very mature, modern, and in general, they just are designed to kind of look like you purchase them from a store, which I really love. This one in particular caught my eye because of its more retro feel. It definitely gives me like 80s vibes, the shape of the shoulders and the neckline and the sleeves. Something about it reminds me of the 80s, and the way that they did a modern twist to it I really like. This blush pink, first of all, just screams spring to me, but I really love this lace detail because it's a nice change. I've never seen something like this before, I feel like. So I really love the lace bit, which would be a great way for you to dip your toes into that if you're interested in giving it a try. But it's not a full lace sweater because it has those columns of stockinette. So it's kind of like a lace rib, which is really cool. Yeah, and then the 3/4 length sleeves or half length sleeves look really lovely. I just think that this is a great, again, transition piece and something that's pretty sophisticated and will look very, very stylish in any wardrobe. So the next one is another sweater pattern. We have quite a few sweaters just to kind of work on the transition because, you know, spring, there's a lot of weather variation depending on where you live, of course, but you know, you start out pretty cold, so we need some transition pieces, and then we'll get on to some more warm weather knits. So this one is the lacy knitted sweater pattern by Knit Crow Addict. I really love this pattern because it looks just so casual, but it's a little bit more elevated than your casual cotton sweater. So yes, this is knit in cotton, and I just think the drape of it with it's not quite lace, the yarn overs that they do throughout the body of the sweater, I think is nice and airy, and it's perfect for warmer weather, but it's not too complicated like a lace, and it wouldn't be as intimidating for someone who is just starting out. So I kind of added this in for its beginner factor as well, but if you wanted something that's just a little bit more elevated and adds a little bit more skill. So yes, I really love the fiber that they chose for this. If you wanted to try out some cotton for spring and get into that, the drape of it is really nice, and I could really just see this being perfect as just a casual sweater to pair with some jeans, even a skirt or over top of a dress. I think it would be a really nice layering piece too. And it would also be perfect for summer nights. I could really see this one at the beach, summer night, you know, just with a little bit of chill, but you want to cover yourself up just a little bit, but you still want to feel airy and have a breathy fabric on. So this one I added in because I was very impressed with the complexity of it. There are just small details on this cardigan that kind of make it, again, elevate it and just make it seem something so much more than a hand knit piece. This is the Sweetness Imprint cardigan by Drops Design. This one just screams spring to me. It's probably because it's knit in pink. I think all the ones that are knit with pink yarn, I'm just thinking like, wow, that just screams spring. It's just really sweet, very girly. This one isn't exactly my style per se, but I can really appreciate all those tiny touches and little details that really bring the whole piece together. For example, the yarn over motif that's along the body of the entire cardigan has again like that, you know, lacy feel, but it's not all over, and so it still will provide some warmth and it is practical, but then also it has that nice light and airy feel to it. Very girly, cottagecore even, I would say. And then those peacoat edges along the rib is just a stunning detail as well. I've never knit something like that, so that would be really cool to learn how to do. And yeah, I am really impressed with this piece and for free. Okay, you guys, this next one blew me out of the water. And you know, last video I was talking about what my most complex knitting pattern was on my to knit pile or to knit list, and I had forgotten about this cardigan. I saw it a couple of months ago, and this was something that I was like, ooh, this would be a perfect spring project to cast on. And it is pretty complex, and I forgot about it. So if you watched last week's video, this is my actual answer. It's the Flower Cardigan by Sandys Garn. This one is beautiful. It's an all over colorwork cardigan, and it has this really beautiful flower motif. I really love the sample with the white border and yellow flowers is exactly what I want to knit up. I think it is really classic in a strange way, you know, like some of those more Scandinavian colorwork sweaters, they're loud, but they have like a classic feel to them, or I don't really know how to describe that. I wish I could explain it a little bit better, but this to me just looks like a staple piece 100%. If I knit something up like this, it would be a lot of time and effort, but it would stay in my closet for a really long time. I would be so proud of the finished object. And again, I can't believe it's free. And I mean, the color work would be such a challenge. I'm already having trouble with the socks that I'm working on, which is not a lot of color work at all. And who knows if I would actually finish this in spring. I probably wouldn't until, you know, the end of the year. But just getting a couple of rows in during spring would put you in such a uplifted mood, I feel like. So I think I'm definitely gonna cast this one on this season. I hope I can get some other things done before then, but yeah, I definitely want to try and work this one up. So this next one is a lot of fun as well. It is the Ballerina Wrap Top by Two of Wands. Two of Wands, I feel like, is the queen of free patterns. If you go on her website, you'll be amazed at how much she offers for free. Of course, you can also buy the ad-free PDFs for, you know, a decent price, I think, but the stitch counts and everything are available for free if you don't mind looking through a couple of ads, which I think is really amazing. So I'm not going to take full credit for sharing this one, or any credit at all. I have to say, Gabriella from Merryweather Knitting, her podcast, I really love catching up with her. And she mentioned that she was going to be casting on a ballerina wrap top, and I had a look at it and it was super cute, absolutely perfect for spring, exactly what she was saying. Everything that she said about this piece, I agree with wholeheartedly. It is just going to be a very flattering piece for anyone who makes it, and you can really dress it up or dress it down. It would be such an easy piece to wear. And if you really love that, again, like 80s jazzercise kind of aesthetic, if you're really into that for this season, this would be a perfect knit for you. And I think, again, this is another one that I might cast on because, you know, Gabriella said she was going to cast it on, and consider me influenced. I feel like I have to do the same because this is just way too cute. If I were to knit this one, if I do succeed in casting it on and knitting it up for this season, I would just extend the sleeves. I'm personally not somebody who likes a capped sleeve, so I would probably go for a 3/4 quarter length sleeve. And yeah, it would be really cute. So it also looks like something that would be fairly easy to adjust on your preferences, based on your preferences. And yeah, very flattering, very romantic, very cute, girly, very spring. Now, if stockinette stitch is not something that you're interested in, I have another ballerina top for you as well. This is the Crisscross Clio top by Adria Phil. I hope I'm saying that right. It's an Italian brand. This actually looks extremely retro, and I'm thinking, I mean, it could just be like the photo shoot, maybe they made it look very 60s, but I'm actually thinking it is a vintage pattern. So again, this is kind of similar to that ballerina top, but it just has a different stitch. And I think it looks like either brioche or fisherman's rib or half fisherman's rib. So very, very cute. I really love the orange that they did in this one. It's not my personal style. I wouldn't wear something so loud, but I can really appreciate the full outfit here, and I just love the retro look of it. I haven't heard of this designer before, but I am so glad I stumbled upon their website. The next pattern that I have for you is the Asher skirt by Originally Lovely. Again, I'm just blown away that this is a free pattern. I'm so in love with the details of this skirt right here. I've never seen anything like it. It reminds me kind of like those leather mini skirts that you've maybe seen. I don't know if it was in style recently, but maybe a couple of years ago, it was something that was really in style, those leather skirts. And for me, what really attracted me to this piece was the construction of it. I'm just really curious about how it's made, which would be such a fun, you know, knit to do, because, you know, to discover those construction techniques, I think would be really satisfying. Here, the small elements that I really love, I love that folded waistband, which would be nice and sturdy, give a lot of support. And then it's like paneling, which is really cool. They must have done it with increases in some way, but it doesn't flare out so much. So I'm really curious about that one. So that is a really cool detail. And then of course, the garter stitch at the bottom so that there's no curling. It's just a really lovely piece. Love it that it's a mini skirt. Personally, I wouldn't wear a mini skirt, so if I knit this one up, I would make it a little bit longer in some way. I'd have to look at the pattern to see if there was a way for me to modify it, but it is so adorable. And I really love the way that the designer styled the piece. This one obviously looks very autumnal, but if you wanted to knit it up for spring, you could obviously just choose a different color and pair it with something that looks a little bit more vibrant pastel, and you'd be perfect. So last time I shared a couple of free patterns from Purl Soho, one of my favorite brands for free patterns. You could get lost in how many free patterns they have on their website, not just for knitting, but also for sewing and any other crafts that you might be interested in. They have so much available for free, it's amazing. And I really love the aesthetic of the brand as well. It's very minimalist, simple. Yeah, I really love the simplicity of their design, and it just looks like, everything looks like something I want to knit. This bag I actually saw years ago when I first started knitting, and I found Purl Soho and some of their stuff looked amazing, but just a little bit more complex than I was ready to tackle at the time. This kind of seemed like it was out of my league with its construction, although now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is really, really simple. We could totally knit this one up. It wouldn't be a problem at all. And I really love it because, again, it has that minimal feel. It has a very simple design, but it would just go so well with everything, and that's exactly what I personally look for in pieces that I want to knit up for my wardrobe. Accessories as well. This looks like something that would be sold at a very high-end brand for a ridiculous amount of money. But you could actually knit it up yourself, and that would make it 10 times better. I could really see this one taken on like a spring picnic. It would also serve you really well at the beach. You know, maybe too cold for that in spring already, but yeah, it would just be a really easy thing to, you know, take whatever you need with you and on the go. The only concern that I have about this piece would be, is it durable enough? But I think the gauge, it's knit so tightly and on such small needles that it would be able to handle whatever you threw in there. So no worries about that. The next accessory that I have is another one from Purl Soho. This is the Whisper Wrap. I'm personally not somebody who has gotten into shawls yet, but I think I'm very, very close to casting one on. And this one would be something so nice to have in the closet because it's just, again, very minimal, but it has some nice little design elements there. And since it's knit very thin and very fine, it's just a very lightweight wrap that would be perfect over your shoulders, over top of a spring dress, or even just casually wrapped around your neck. Very simple, and you would just look very chic, I think. Yeah, this would be a perfect accessory for a nice party or like big social gathering. You would look super cute in this. And finally, the last accessory that I have on this list is a pair of socks. I get a lot of questions about what kind of sock pattern would be good for a beginner, somebody who's never knit socks before. And I would say a free pattern is probably your best bet. And this one here has some interest without, you know, being too complicated. So it's the Slip Knit Socks. It's the Slip Knit Socks by Patterns or Yarnspirations. These socks right here are not complex at all. Slip stitches are basically just knitting without actually pulling the yarn through. So this would have a nice little design touch with little to no extra work at all. So no stress. This would be very simple, I think. And I just really love the yarn that's recommended with these. I would love to get some, but unfortunately it's not available in the EU. It only ships to the US and Canada, which is really terrible. So I've seen this pattern and yarn knit up on the Love Stitch Knits knitting podcast. She has some videos here over on YouTube, and she showed off these exact socks with the exact yarn, and I fell in love. It was just so beautiful. It's a self-striping yarn, and I'm just really sad that I won't be able to get it. So definitely knit these up in the yarn recommended in the pattern because it's super cute. These just look like a lot of fun to knit, and with self-striping yarn, I feel like you get more and more excited as the stripes begin to form, so that would kind of motivate you throughout the project as well. Okay, this design blew me out of the water. I can't believe it's free. This is the Cool Crop Top by Paintbox Yarns. And what really caught my eye, obviously the main design feature of this piece is that really awesome open back. And the construction of this piece is beautiful. I really love it. It, again, looks like a store-bought top. I just think it would be so interesting to knit just to learn how to do the construction here. And there's like, again, those really small elements as well that are there, like the little cabling on the edges, and then that twisted rib looks really, really nice. And on the front, it's just a casual crop top. So I think it would go well with everything. It's like a little bit of casual on the front, and then you turn around and people are like blown away by the back. And then you can say that you knit it yourself. I just think that's amazing. Really upping their game, I think, with the free pattern. And yeah, this just looks really cute and girly. Again, kind of cottagecore. I mean, is that right? I don't really, I'm not a cottagecore person, but I think this would look really cute with all kinds of like flowy skirts. And it would just make a really sweet outfit. So as the weather gets warmer, we're going to want to get into some sleeveless tops. So the next one I have for you is the Joy Top, again by Rowan Yarn. Or I think it's just Rowan, actually. Anyway, this one right here, like I was mentioning before, Rowan has just this really nice sophisticated feel to them. Kind of retro feels, but with modern twists as well. So it's like they're reinventing maybe some of their old patterns, because I think this is a very like well-established brand. This one right here is the Joy Top. It just looks so classy to me and such a simple, quick knit, I have a feeling. So it's kind of like a ribbed tank, but it's got moss stitch instead of purl bumps on the... It's like a ribbed top, but instead of alternating purls and knits, it's knits and moss stitch, and I just really love that extra detail that's there. This one, again, would look really nice at the office, or something just a little bit more professional if you needed. If you wanted to do some knits for a more professional look, I think you could definitely get away with this one. And yeah, knit in any kind of plant-based yarn like cotton, linen, denim even would be really interesting, and yeah, definitely really cool. I might not be interested in knitting dresses, but with the questions, the number of questions I received if I ever would or if I have, it sounds like you guys are really interested in knitting up a dress. That might be the hot project for 2022. So I had to find at least one dress pattern that is for free. And here, I really love this one. This one is very classic, very simple. It's the Dalton dress by Blue Sky Fibers. I really love how minimal this piece is, and it just looks like something very easy to slip on and go. If you knit this in like a very neutral fabric, it would be just so easy, yeah, to just style with anything. I'm thinking like a denim jacket or lightweight jacket would be super cute with this, and some sandals. Really cute outfit. So the notes on this piece say it's knit from the bottom up, and I don't know why that was just so shocking to me, but I really love the slit here, so that's probably why it's constructed that way. The slit is nice and open, but not too high, so again, professional, modest. I like that. That's my thing. And then of course I love the 2x2 rib detail along that slit as well. I think it looks really good. So, you know, it looks like there's plenty of room here. It's more my speed, and I definitely think, again, this would be beautiful knit up in cotton or any other plant-based fiber you might want with a little bit of drape. Yeah, I just think this is a classy staple piece for both spring and summer. And finally, once you've knit all those projects, it's probably summer 2023, so you're gonna be looking for maybe a tank top to get started on, and this one right here I think is really awesome, again by Originally Lovely. So this designer, she does some amazing free patterns. You definitely have to go check out her website. So I absolutely love square neck tops, and I love to see knitting patterns with this type of neckline. You don't really see it that often, but we're starting to get more and more square neck tops, I think, as they're a little bit more trendy now. And this tank top pattern I feel like is trendy, but it has staple piece, a wardrobe staple potential. I really love that twisted rib and that they did the square neck with the straps. I think that's really cool and how seamless that is. And yeah, I just think that whatever color you would knit this one up in, it would just be so easy to pair with a skirt, jeans, shorts, whatever your style is. I just think this one is just so wearable. And in all, it looks like a really enjoyable knit and something that you would wear throughout the entire warm season. That is the lineup of 15 free spring knitting patterns that you can knit up for free. Save the yarn that you might have to spend and you're ultimately going to be searching for if any of these projects caught your eye. And I hope some of them did. I hope this provided at least some inspiration for you and maybe you're getting excited to cast on those warm weather knits, because as we know, I have a couple that are already in my queue that I'm kind of dreaming up, so I'm also very excited to cast those on. A huge thank you again to Nordgreen for sponsoring today's video, and thank you guys so much for supporting brands that love to support this channel. I appreciate that. And thank you for watching. If you liked this video, definitely give it a like, and maybe even subscribe to stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!